This is the Art Beauty Podcast, where we are always reaching for truth and beauty. Remember, the brands on the show are not paying to be here, so we get to ask them the questions we know you want answered because you deserve to be informed so you can make the best choices for yourself. With that said, I'm Amber Milt, and today my fabulous co-host is Christina Kao. She is the founder of Mini Macaron, which is a line of at-home nail care products and DIY gel manis. We're going to be talking all about this for my DIY girls. You're going to absolutely love this. But before we get into that, welcome to the show, Christina. How are you doing today?
Hi, thanks, Amber. I'm so excited to be here and to meet you.
I'm so excited too. So, we are right now in the thick of winter here in New York City. Where are you located?
I'm in Barcelona, so it's not as cold as New York. I used to live in New York, so I know how it can get. It's fairly sunny here, but yeah, we get a little bit of the chills in this time of year.
I am so jealous. So, by the way, my husband and we went to Barcelona, and both of us agreed that of all the
Great.
places in the world, that is a place we could move to tomorrow. Because we loved, first of all, the city itself is so beautiful. Gaudi's artwork everywhere and architecture.
Yes.
The people were great, and I love the whole lifestyle, right? So tapas, eating little bites because I like to eat a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
also, it is just, you've got the beach, you've got the city, and the people were just so magical.
It's a wonderful place. I think you've got that Mediterranean spirit. Like you said, tapas in the daytime, sangria and cava at night.
Oh,
So it's really a lovely, magical place for sure.
oh, you were so lucky now. Were you originally from Barcelona?
No, I'm from Alabama,
Okay.
actually, which is very surprising for most people. My family is from Taiwan, so I was born in Alabama, but my parents moved there when before I was born, and then I grew up there, and then I moved to New York. So I was living in New York City for a while, and then I moved to Shanghai. So I was in China for a bit, and then I headed over to Europe.
Oh gosh, you are just living the dream life. You know, with that said, I know that we are all still in this idea of new you, new year, new you, and in your case, new nails. And I think that sometimes our nails are something that maybe take a little bit of a back burner in terms of care, um, but yet are so important. I am a gel mani girl. Now, generally at this point in the new year, I try to give them a break, but it's hard when you're doing work. I work with New Beauty Magazine, a lot of stuff on
Mhm.
camera. Like they always have to look good.
Sure. Yeah.
So, when it comes to this idea, we had a great podcast on sort of nail rehab with a doctor who was like, no gel nails, let them go bare.
Mhm.
But more realistically, I feel like, do you have some, tips for those of us who like just can't go without our gel or can't go without a mani?
Definitely. I mean, I'm one of those people. I think the reason I got into gel is because when I used to work in a marketing, corporate job, I needed to have, like you, my nails done all the time. I was doing a lot of events. I liked having my nails perfect, polished,
Yeah.
finished looking. It pulled together my outfit. And then I was getting into this cycle of always having my manicure that needed to be done and then having to get into the salon to, get them painted, which would take time. And then you are booked back in for your removal, right? Because you needed to have them help you remove it. And so I was always in, the lover of the look and the effect of like that gorgeous, chip free, shiny mani that will last you like 3 to 4 weeks. But I didn't love the time that it took. And, and I mean, I think when you go to the salon, a lot of people say, well, it can be damaging. And that is, how people think about gel often. And I tell people that when you go to the salon, what's damaging is not the polish. What's damaging is the removal process, actually,
Right.
because you see them file it down, right? And I think that's what people are afraid of. When you file it down, it's thinning out your nail. Then you're getting another manicure, and then that's going to have to be removed later.
Yeah.
So that whole process, I think can thin out your nails. I'm a big fan of doing it at home now, where I control the application, I control the removal. So, I tell people just don't file so much, like if you're changing it up weekly, like we have a product, our products you can change up weekly. It's a one step. So it's really meant for you to be able to do it when you want, change up the manicure to match your outfit or, your mood that week. But when it's time to remove, it's very easy to do that. And then, it's a bit lighter on the nails. So also another thing that we've seen, have you heard of gel cycling, Amber?
I have not. But maybe I have, where it's kind of like give it a break in between your gel polishes.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay.
I mean, yeah, it's what it sounds like, but it's definitely popped up, more, I think, with, in the press, and people have been writing about it, and I know people have been talking about it. So as with the pandemic and people were at home, being able to do your own manicures really became a thing. And I think a lot of people got good at it, right? And like,
Yeah.
you save your time, you're not having to like run to the salon. So that habit has stuck around. But if you're doing it regularly, you do want to take some breaks. And so that brings in your nail care, as your break in between. And I do recommend, if you're doing it, really regularly, probably every month or two, just take a week off, right? And like
Yeah.
rebuild your nail a bit.
It makes such a difference, and I've done that before where, when I've had a little bit of downtime, I try to do, like, almost a month off. It certainly
Mhm.
doesn't get rid of all the damage, but going back to the damage, I know that my nail tech, she pulls out the drill, and I'm always like, "Oh, I wanna tell her not to," but, I get it. It's a time
Right.
thing for them. But
Mhm.
that's where I kind of fell in love with this idea, especially of your kit, which is, can we just talk about this? How adorable is this at-home kit? This is your little gel light, which does look like a delicious
Yeah.
macaron cookie. But you have these gel removal wraps. And I think,
Mhm.
if nothing else, if you have the time, because look, I admit it, I like to go to the nail, they freshen up the cuticles. Like when I do my nails at home, they never look as good as when somebody else is doing them. But it's
Right.
time, it's money. And you lived in New York. New York, there's a salon in every street. But I think of all my
Yep.
women around the world who have to get in the car, drive to the salon,
Right.
do that, so it is even more of an investment in time. Um, but I think that these gel remover wraps are a game changer, because I'm really, when I opened this kit and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I could do this." I think that you've made it so easy so that we can avoid some of that damage that we know is gonna happen in most salons. I hate to say it, but it's going to.
Yeah, I think, when you go to the salon, the manicure system that they're using is a three-step. So they're doing the base, the color, the top, your colors, two or three coats. There's many layers in between. And before they start, they're filing the nail, right? Because they want the polish to adhere. It's going to
Yeah,
last longer. They're giving you value if your manicure lasts a month. But then when you go back, it's really stuck to your nail. Like, that's the whole point. So that's where they pull out the drill, because it is the fastest way to break down those top coat layers and get to removing. You will see that they wrap it, right? So they will wrap it with acetone. You're soaking off. That is the process for removal. I think what I like about the at home process, I mean, definitely there are gels that are the three steps, and you can do those at home too. We do a one step because our product was really meant for people who have never really tried it before, wanted to get into doing gel at home, but not having it be something really difficult or a huge commitment. I love these colors that you're showing. So fun. And we have a lot of like fun pop colors, because what I love about having my mani done is when it's really eye catching and I see like a great color, and people always compliment me when they see these like really bright colors. So yeah, I think when you're doing it at home, definitely the one step, it's a base color top coat all in one, the 3-in-1 formula, and it allows you to do it in 15 minutes. It's very light on the nails. So I always like to say easy on, easy off. The removal process with the wraps that you showed is the same as the salon, where you're soaking off. So you're going to want to like file the surface of the mani that you want to remove just a little bit to break it up, and then you wrap, wait about 15 minutes. It'll have that shatter effect. I'm sure you know that effect well if you're a gel lover. And then it'll just kind of come off. You can use the cuticle stick to push it off. We also have tools to help you remove it pretty easily. And yeah, it's just really meant to be easy to do, give you the freedom, to do it whenever you want. You can remove it when you want. The wraps do remove salon gel. So if you are a regular salon user, you can use those. I would just make sure you file a little bit more, because if you're
yeah.
doing that three-step, you want to break into it. But then it just, the acetone will penetrate, it'll kind of soak off. So I do recommend, giving it a try sometimes if you want to DIY. If you're traveling a lot, it's great to bring it with you on the go. If you are a salon goer and you have a chip nail, it's always nice to have a little system with you, right? When you're out on the road.
So, okay, we keep it real here in full disclosure because I got it and told Christina today. I was like, I haven't tried this yet because again, my nails have been under like they've had to be camera
Yeah.
ready. And I just was like, let me just go to the professionals. That said, they are starting to chip a little at the top. Wah, wah. And most of the time, 90% of the time when I go to the salon, I bring my own gel polish. I find that
Yeah.
like I have a signature pink color that is basically this. So I'm so excited because this is my jam. But then today I was thinking, and I'm so glad you told me that this is not a 3-step because I was like, oh, I'm just going to paint them over clear again because they're starting to look whatever. I realize I don't have that here. I think though that being able, I had to go back in and like have a chip nail fix, like you said, as somebody who's on the go, being able to go in, even if you have a professional do this, but then being able to touch up your own nails on the go
Mhm.
is so clutch. Do you have a lot of people who write in and tell you this is what I use it for?
Definitely. I think we're so pressed for time, right? Like
Yeah.
we have so many demands now more than ever. And I think, when it was the pandemic, people had more time, they were at home. But now we're like running around out and about again. So many things we have to get to. I'm the same. I have a little get together later and I touched up my nails. I didn't want to redo them. And I think with these polishes, you can just go over it with like one coat, right? If you have a
Yeah.
little snag or you want to just like freshen it, make it glossier, if it's been 1 or 2 weeks, just go over with another coat and it'll do the trick.
So are your polishes, let's speak about the polishes really quickly because one, I didn't realize, and my bad that this is a 1-step. Are they meant to be left on as long as a traditional gel manicure? Like maybe, I'm going to say 2 to 3 weeks. I think a month, God bless, if you can keep your nails for a month, but 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, do these last as long?
So the one-step gel, I usually say will last 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
They're really designed to be light on your nails. So they're not going to go the 3 to 4 week distance the way the salon one does, because the salon has that base color top. It's all
Yeah.
kind of sticking to each other and it's all built up. The one step is really light. You can paint it on. Now, if you want it to last longer, you could do a third coat. We also sell a gel top coat separately. So it's funny because we don't really talk about our gel top coat a ton because we are really known as that
Yeah.
one step 15-minute mani. And yet the top coat is actually the single bestseller of all the single bottles. When I see
Yeah.
that every year, I'm like, that's so strange. But I think psychologically, people like having a top coat. We don't push it a ton because we're like, hey, this is all about convenience. It's fast. When you need a touch up, when you need a mani, express mani, you don't need to have all those tools and all those layers. But we do have a lot of people who like to have it. And I think maybe they want it for the 2, 3 weeks, that longer extended lasting.
And is your top coat is it compatible with other brands of polish? I know a lot goes into the formulations of these. But like let's say for example, I was to order the top coat and needed to freshen up the mani today. Is that something that you could do on the go?
We get this question a lot. Like, is our any of our polishes or top coat, can we mix and match with other lamps? Can other polishes work with our lamps? So this question of mixing and matching, I would say generally, yes, you can use different polishes and different lamps, and you can use the top coat over if you have a gel mani that you want to give it another week or two, you can use it. It's really about the curing. So, depending on what you're painting, whether you're painting with ours or another brand, you are going to want to read that polish's cure time. So, our top coat will cure in 30 seconds because it's part of the system of our lamps, our mini lamps are 30 seconds. So our whole system is like every cure is 30 seconds and then you're dry. You can do another layer if you want. But I think if you're using, a more professional brand, it might say, hey, cure the top coat for 120 seconds, right? So
Right.
you just want
Okay.
to read the instructions on the bottle of the polish that you're using. And then there's lots of different lamps out there. So depending on what lamp you're using, ours, we have a mini, we have a deluxe set that, dries 4 fingers at a time. So it just depends, on what you want to do. So this is a 1 step. So it's 1 finger at a time.
Okay.
It's the 30 second, the light, you punch the button, the light will go on, and it's 30-second dry. With our polish, it's 30 seconds. Now, if you want to use it with another brand, just make sure you read their instructions. If they need 60 seconds, just, hit the button twice.
Right.
But yeah, it goes with the USB, which I think you're looking for. But
I'm
the
plugging in
USB
right
just
now,
plugs.
USB-C.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Oh
yeah,
my
it
gosh.
just
Because
plugs
look how
in,
cute this
and
is.
then it's so portable. So
And then I don't want
yeah,
to blind
it's
everybody,
it's
but you
that
just,
it's a one
I
finger.
I mean, I gotta say, we have Valentine's coming up and Galentine's coming up, and like, what a great gift to give that person who is on the go, who is a traveler, and with a little bottle of polish. Now, I can you take this polish, let's say, um, because I want to take a step back. We've talked to people before. You can mix and match stuff, but keep in mind, and I tell this to my manicures all the time because they'll pull out a top coat from one brand, something from
Um,
Essie or OPI, and their polish from another and a different base coat. And I've told her before, I'm like, these are really designed to go together. It's not that they can't be
mm,
used mix and match, but they're designed, right? You've got chemists who have spent time and
right.
energy making sure that they work with the system. That said, could we take this 2 hour, manicures if we didn't want to do it at home and then take this on the go?
You can. So I also do it. I will not say that I never go to the salon. I do sometimes go to the salon because, they do help clean up if I need it. What they do is they'll use their own base because they want it to last a long time.
Right.
So, and then they'll layer our color, and then you can either bring our top coat or use their top coat. But you can certainly use the color, it can sandwich in between.
Got it.
And then the little lamp can go with you wherever you need, and just touch up as you need.
I mean, I'm telling you, everybody who's ever traveled, you are just singing you're like changing my life right now because come on, this would fit like in a pocket somewhere. Is it safe to travel with it through the TSA? No problems, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, it's so funny. We had one of our influencers make a video of her painting her nails on the plane,
Oh,
and it went super viral. I think it was like 7 million views or something. And people were asking, they're like, doesn't it smell? So gel polish doesn't smell the way nail polish does, like gel polish is fairly low in terms of the odor. And gel polish isn't flammable, which people never know this, but regular nail polish is flammable, but gel is not. So you can do it on the plane, and then you plug it to your laptop or a battery charger, and just save some time. Like, just paint your nails while you're on the flight, or paint your nails while you're like waiting by the gate.
I mean,
We
I
have
just
people
plugged this
doing
in
that
and just to
too.
show people, yeah. So I just plugged this in. I was looking, I have like a little computer port here, but it is your USB. And what's really nice too? It's the USB-C. So you probably have this charger for some sort of thing in your arsenal. So here you go. You're charged in, you're ready to rock. I
Okay, I
love
want to show
that.
you something, Amber.
Yeah.
So the little lamp has a magnet. I don't know if you know, but it flips around. So if you
Okay.
pop it, you can pop the
I
top
was
off.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then you can actually take the base and then just flip it so that it's like, instead of being like a sandwich, it's like flipped around.
Like this?
And you can see, yeah, it should, yeah. And then basically that's how you do your toes. So if you want, like, slide
No,
your
I'm gonna
toes
do
under
this
there.
right now. OMG. I'm like I'm literally about to
Yeah.
get on a flight and I've been rehabbing my toes for months now, but I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna be maybe in sunny weather."
Yes.
Christina.
So this is how so some people don't know this. It's very funny because we have some customers who like shove their toes into the hole. I'm like, no, turn it around. It's a magnet. And then when you push the button, you have all that space to put your foot under there.
Got it.
So
Okay, I
obviously
don't
if
have it
you're on
plugged
the
in, but yeah.
floor, yeah, but if you're like on the floor, you're on the sofa, you just have extra space. And because your toes are small, I actually cure 2 toes at a time. So that just say, because your toes are tiny, right? So you just like paint 2 toes, stick it under there 30 seconds, do
You know what?
again, do your big toe by itself.
I was thinking about this and I was like, oh my gosh, it's not even my big toe that would be hard to get in. It's that little janky one that has like, I don't know about you,
Right.
but mine is like that little, like
Like,
little nub, the sad thing. Yeah, that would be, wow.
yeah.
So any other tips that we have, like, in terms of, I mean, I think that this is like a game changer, and it's no wonder that your brand has taken off and has become so popular because I've never seen anything like this that makes on the go either DIY total or touch ups so accessible. Is there any other tips that you have for people who might be trying this for the first time?
Yeah, I think so gel polish is super thick and it's much thicker than regular nail polish. So the application technique is very different. So I think just you
Okay.
have to have a slightly different mindset. Um, Two, I would say the most important tips I recommend is make sure when you are prepping your nail, you're going to want to file the surface. That's what they do at the salon because you're roughing up the surface a bit for that gel to adhere. But then you're going to want to cleanse the surface as well and remove all the oils. Because if your nails are a bit oily, it's easier for the gel to peel off.
Okay.
So just, either use alcohol to cleanse it, or we have like manicure prep pads that we sell for like, they're kind of like these like little self-contained pads, but just cleanse it. But normal alcohol works. Then when you're ready to apply, the polish is very thick. So when you open the bottle, you will want to swipe the brush. Yeah, this is great. I love this shot. Like we show this in a lot of tutorials. Swipe the brush a lot, get everything off. And when you paint that first coat, your brush is going to be almost transparent. You're going to cover the nail, but it's going to look almost transparent. So
Okay.
you don't want to paint it like nail polish because I think the intent usually with regular polish is you go for full coverage, right? Because it's air drying pretty quickly. Gel doesn't dry at all until you go under the light. It
Right.
is staying liquid, which I love because it's actually much easier to work with. Because if you're, new to it, you just want to, do that very transparent thin layer. You cure for 30. You can go a little bit like with a little thicker layer, just cover it. But if it is like retracting a bit, just go over it, right? So you can go over it and over it until it's perfect, and then you cure. So that's what I really like about gel is that you can take your time, you can get good with it. You're not pressed for time because of the whole air dry thing that regular nail
Right.
polish does.
So when we're doing this, do you dry in between coats? You paint
Yes.
on?
So
Okay.
I exactly. So you're going to work finger by finger. So that is a one finger lamp. And then you're going to paint one, cure it, repeat, cure. Then you
Okay.
move on to the next finger. Some people paint all four fingers and then they're like curing, curing, curing. And I say, don't do that because the best application is as soon as you paint, you want to reduce your air time
Got
because
it.
it'll shrink a little bit. Like once that gel retracts a little bit, because the base coat, like you're not doing a separate base coat. Because usually when you're in the salon, they do a separate base coat. When they do the color, it's it's all sticky, so then it's not retracting. But once that gel will shrink a little bit, so you want to work, once you've got it covered, go into the lamp. Then you cure, and then you repeat. I also would say, people always ask me like, oh, but doesn't it take ages because you're doing one finger at a time? And so what I tell them is actually because it's a 3-in-1, you're
Right.
not doing separate base color top, right? Like you're doing your color twice, but if you had to do all those other layers, you are actually having to paint, multiple layers. So it does go, I would say it takes 15 to 20 minutes. I would allow for a little bit more time when it's your first time. And it probably takes like one or two times to get it really right, like to get the
Sure.
hang of it. But I mean, definitely go very thin. And usually when I show people, like when I paint it, it looks almost transparent, but
Yeah.
if there's coverage, that's the effect you want.
And so that's just the first coat, and then the second coat will give you that kind of full coverage that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
not, you said you could do up to a third coat?
You can do a third coat. So if you're doing a more like sheer or light color, like a pale pink, a third coat is good if you want more of that color payoff. The darker colors, the brighter colors, we just do two normally. So that pink,
Two.
that bright pink that you've got, two is good, yeah. And then, it's not sticky when you're done. So usually in the salon, you know how they're like wiping it down and
Yeah.
cleansing it after the top coat. So our one set gel isn't sticky. Once it's dry, you're good to go.
This is such a game changer. Now, if people want to order this, oh, well, I'd be, sorry. let's talk about the pricing of this. So
Mhm.
this mini lamp came in a beautiful kit with your charger, with this, and this one came with the pearlescence
Mhm.
color. So what is the price point for that?
So the mini gel manicure kit is $38. That pearlescence kit has been our best seller all year. It's that glazed donut, fairy glaze nail effect. And the pearlescence is great because it can be worn alone for that very sheer hollow look, but it can be layered over a color if you
Yeah.
want a bit of a hollow over that. So
I
yeah,
mean, I
you
think
could
this is
just
what I'm
like
going to do right
top it
after
up.
this. Uh-huh. Just to top it up. Um, can we just say $38 is less than one single gel manicure?
Hmm. Definitely.
Think,
We did like a calculation. Like if you did your mani every, I don't know if it was like every week or 2 weeks, it's like $1.30 a mani,
yeah.
something like that for a year. So it's crazy.
That is, I mean, that's insane. And if people want to know more about this, I was on your blog. You've got so many great tips and tutorials on how to use this.
Yeah.
Other awesome topics specifically for nail care. If people want to know more about this, where's the best place for them to go?
So we're on Instagram, Mini Macaron, and our website is leminimacaron.com. And you can find the products also at select Targets. We're at Ulta. So just look around. We're around.
Amazing. And before I let you go, and I hate to put you on the spot here, is there like a special color that you love, or are there any other cool nail trends that you're seeing now in 2024?
Ooh, okay. So every time it's the new year, we always say new year, new nails.
Yeah.
Our team every year, that's our rallying cry. And I do feel that in the early parts of the year, like the first few months, people kind of go back to basics, right? So shears, last year we launched our new shears collection. It did so well. Creamy colors, pale pinks, milky. I mean, you've heard about the milk nails. It's been
Yeah.
like everywhere. I think that's really around to stay. It's just so universal, so popular.
I love that. Christina, I want to thank you so much for being on with us. I mean, I'm going to thank you for everybody listening who has ever had their nails done, because this kit seems like it's an absolute game changer. I'm going to make sure when I do this for the first time, I will put it up on social so that everybody can see how easy it is to use. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Amber.
And enjoy that kava tonight for me. And of course, if you at home listening have some questions you want me to pass on to Christina or her team, I'm always happy to do so. You can email me at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. You can find us on social media, Instagram, YouTube, at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday, hopefully with some banging nails. Bye.